Hey, welcome to the Moto Academy Members Podcast episode 4, where we dive deeper into the world of motocross and the life of the Moto Academy community. This time I'm hosting this podcast. My name is Christian Geloof, and in this episode I have a fascinating discussion with MarkTwoFour. As in the previous episode, this episode is again cut up in parts of about half an hour. Whether you're a TMA member or just curious about motocross, this podcast could be for you. Sit back, relax, and join us on the journey as we learn more about the life of each of the members. If you like the podcast, please give the thumbs up. Let's get started. This is part 1 of episode 4.
Let's go.
Okay, welcome, Mark.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome.
Been good. It's like I say, it's I've seen a couple of your episodes already, so I'm super pumped to be part of it. So
yeah, I'm also pumped. You saw how fast it went, eh? You sent a message definitely. And I said, "Let's do it tonight."
Yeah, I sent the message yesterday, and I was kind of like, maybe I'll put the option in, and then today at work I was like, the message, let's do this. So I was like, why not?
Yeah, I think that's also the best, because the best things happen just by accident or all of a sudden, and that's just how it is. And if we would postpone it longer, then also you're like, oh, what is going to be? And it doesn't need to be. We just have a good talk, and that is what it's going to be.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's see if my buttons are working. Of course not. There's always like that. Hopla. There's the finger. I will put your picture in there. Mark Osborne.
Correct, yeah.
And in the app known as MarkTwoFour.
Correct.
30 December 1981 you were born, and you were born in UK. Between brackets put there North Devon.
Yes.
I think I even been on holiday there.
Okay, yeah. So I live in a little town called Barnstable, which is it's in the southwest, but we're more on the north coast.
Okay. Nice.
It's we're only probably a couple miles from sort of a few beaches. So yeah, we're very coastal.
Exactly. So I was thinking that I went to a beach in Devon. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And is there also a how do we call that? A sort of, I don't know if that's the word, carnival. No, it's like I don't know the English word. It's like all kind of things with lights and sounds and cars going around, stuff like that.
So like a fair, like a
fair, okay.
Fairground rides and things. Yeah.
Is that in Devon?
Yeah. So we a lot of the coastal towns will have things like that throughout the year.
Okay.
But generally, like where I live, they have one sort of September time.
Okay.
But yeah, you get the odd one. They'll pop up here and there, like just for a weekend or something like that. But we do have quite a bit around here.
I can remember when I was driving there, so correct me if I'm wrong, that I had the feeling that I was at not in England anymore. And why was that? Because normally the roads, they have bushes here, bushes there. And I was driving to the coast, all of a sudden it was open.
Yeah, it's the problem is there's so many, we're getting lots of houses and that built around here, so a lot of the countryside is being sort of taken away. So obviously, and it's a really popular tourist area.
Okay.
So they've got to build the roads to accommodate for all the traffic and things. So it's I remember when I was a kid, everywhere was just fields.
Exactly.
But now you've got motorways and sort of bigger main roads, so it's not as nice as it was when I was little.
I was surprised how good the road was for my experience, because I've been several places, and most of the time they're tiny roads most of the time, and then in the highways are sort of okay, because they arranged that. But if you come to a village, then everything is so tiny, and you have to. For me, I really have to take care that you do not scratch the car somewhere, because if you take the corner too short or whatever, then you hit something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's you don't want to be kind of going around the corners too fast, because you never quite know what you're going to meet coming the other way.
Exactly. That was for me so difficult, that you have so many blind corners.
Yeah.
And for me, I have to drive on the wrong side of the road. and I'm
Yeah.
driving and I think, oh, I don't see anything.
It's probably, yeah, probably more confusing for you, like say, having to be on the other side of the road as well. So
Yeah, but I'm also driving with my own car, so the steering is also, let's say, on the wrong side of the
okay,
road as
yeah,
well.
sure, yeah.
So I see
Oh,
less.
blimey.
I can tell you that I said to my wife, I said, "You watch for me because you are in the right spot.
Yeah,
And
definitely. Yeah, some of
if
the
you see
roads are,
something, brake, shout it because I'm always too late."
yeah. No,
Hey,
that's
if
that's
I'm
a little bit like myself and my wife. When each one of us is driving, the others sort of giving out, shouting out the orders and saying, "Slow down," or "You should be doing this." So yeah, we have that conversation each time we go out. So it's funny.
yeah, that I think that's normal in every
Yeah,
marriage. Yeah, the only thing
yeah,
is, as long as it isn't annoying, then it's okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. There are a few times you kind of like feel like I say to my wife, "Okay, let's stop here and you can drive," and it's like, "Oh no, 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 don't be like that." But
yeah,
yeah,
then it's
it's
already
we
at that
joke about it.
a little bit on the edge then. Huh?
Yeah, no, it's really
Okay,
good. So
a little bit for the rest of the world. I put it in the map. For you, it is known, of course. So if this is a flat map of the world, yeah, we're sitting there in that. We see it over there, but I will make it a little bit bigger for the podcast, somewhere in the middle. So I zoom that in a little bit on the next slide. So we see the two colors there. The blue is the Netherlands, and the red, that is Great Britain
yeah,
or UK, where you live.
yeah.
Um, Later on, maybe I can put the kilometers and miles on it if I would drive. I also did that with my motos, just funny an idea how many hours are in between us. Now,
Yeah.
maybe for the listeners, I think we have 1 hour in between. So for you, it is 1944 now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just coming out then. Yeah,
Yeah, and for me, it's 2044. So that is easy for me to organize also. Then I have a little bit more time for prepare than you
yeah.
because I have to set it up here as well, of course. Um, for your knowledge, I also did an episode 3, but then with the real GP, and he
Okay.
was 9 hours away from me. Now I can tell you that is a little bit more difficult to
Yeah,
arrange.
it's difficult when you try and listen to the live streams on the app
Yeah.
because of the time delay. The
Oh,
sort of UK time, they're generally about but anything between 10 and 11 o'clock at night.
yeah. For me, it's
Um,
11 o'clock. Huh? So
yeah,
I
so
never listen to a live
it's
thing
really
because
difficult.
yeah,
Um,
if I have the next day off, I would listen.
yeah,
But that situation that there is the live stream and the next day I'm off, yeah, that doesn't happen so often
yeah.
because he doesn't plan it on a Tuesday because my Wednesday is the off day, so to say.
Yeah, yeah, that's the only tricky. That sometimes he does one a little bit earlier, I think, but yeah, but sort of most of them are kind of, and then sometimes I'll get up in the morning to go to work and I'll see a notification to say that like
Yes.
Jackson had done one at 3 in the morning or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah. From Jackson, that is most of the time completely different hours in it. But
Yeah,
yeah, he's in Canada, so probably he also takes completely different hours. I have no
yeah.
idea how far he's away from me because I remembered with my trip um, to fly home, he had more hours than me to fly home from where I
Oh,
was.
really? Okay.
Yeah, so I think he's probably from me about 8 hours away, maybe, or 7 hours also. So
Okay.
yeah, you can imagine if he's doing something also near the end of the day, how
Yeah,
AJ is doing that. Yeah, then it's even later for him.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
So probably between AJ and him is maybe already 2 or 3 hours.
Hmm.
I do
Yeah,
not know
it's
that
crazy to
exactly.
think the time difference in America. You think
Yeah,
it's big, but when they talk about sort of flight times in their own country at like 8 9 hours, you're like, blimey,
yeah,
that's crazy when you try
y-
and put it in perspective.
yeah. We fly from north to south Europe and and
Yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah,
we could probably like from where I live to Scotland, which is right at the very far north, it's probably only maybe a 2 hour flight, maybe
yeah,
something like
exactly.
that.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I think um, I talked about this with AJ during my trip also that I think most people cannot imagine these things. How, yeah, let's say we sort of think more in a smaller area.
yeah,
I- and it's also, I think, normal that because you cannot um, live in a bigger area, then you can sort of
Yeah.
get to that area in a certain amount of time. I feel.
Yeah.
If you have a friend that is, let's say living in, for me, for instance, UK, MarkTwoFour, I want to
Yeah.
make an point of view that it's going to happen one or mostly two times a year,
Yeah.
practically, because for us that difference is, or that distance is so far.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. It's
Mhm.
because we actually went to New York a couple of weeks ago
Mm.
just for a few days, and
Mhm.
I kind of said to AJ, I messaged AJ, and I was kind of like, "Hey, we're coming to New York. You know, maybe
Yeah,
it'd be cool to catch up. How far away from you?" And when you look at the map, it didn't look that
far.
far. But
No.
he was like, "Oh no, we're still about 3 hours away." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Wow, this is, maybe it's not going to be so easy."
No, that's not. It's not.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and on the map, it, like I say, they look so close,
Yeah,
but
but
they're not.
that is because that map is so made small that
Yeah,
you do not have the feeling of how big it is.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's also
definitely.
because we're used to look at a map with a certain scale, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hey,
yeah,
you're used to looking at the map, yeah, of your country, and
yeah,
that is a little bit where you're used to in scale.
yeah,
And if you then look at a map which is, let's say, almost physically the same size, and you see United States, well, how much
yeah,
bigger is that?
yeah,
Maybe
yeah. No, it's
10 times? I don't know.
yeah, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy how big that place is.
Yeah, it's funny, yeah, in fact, yeah, but that it is. Okay. Um, like with Mind Moto, I think with Mind Moto, I had two things in schedule. That was motocross and um, mental health.
Yeah.
But the first pilot, I think I covered with him the general stuff. We see how far we get.
Okay.
That is a little bit how I go about this. Because if you say, okay, I've had it for now, then we're just going to quit and then say, okay, we do podcast 4.5 and then we do the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah.
Um, now, let's start with the general stuff. And can you tell me a little bit about your family composition?
Yeah. Sure. So I'm married to my wife, who's called Kerry,
Okay.
and I've got a daughter called Liv, who's now 15 years old.
Oh, nice
Um,
age.
yeah. So she's almost going into her last year of school now.
Okay.
So that's really frightening to think how quickly time's gone.
Oh, so yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, so she's getting the motocross bug now.
Really?
Yeah, we've never really pushed her into it because when she was younger, she was a little bit kind of um, like fearful.
Okay. Yeah.
So we never kind of really pushed it. But now she's got a boyfriend. He also rides motocross.
Really?
Yeah, so
Oh.
and like his family, they're very motocross orientated. So she's pushing me hard now to give it a go. So we've booked. We're in the process of booking. Not far from where we are, there's a facility where you can go and learn.
Ah.
So we're going to go book a lesson there and just kind of see how she gets on with it. You know, really, she should have started when she was younger, because then you can start on the smaller bikes.
Yeah.
Whereas now, because she's 15, but she's not far off 6 foot in height.
Yeah. I
So
saw a photo. You should send a photo, and I think, oh, she's
yeah,
pretty big.
yeah.
If you say
So
15, then I'm like, whoa, for a girl.
yeah, yeah, she's really tall.
Yeah.
So we kind of thinking she's going to have to go down kind of like the bigger bike route.
Yeah.
So like 125, something like that.
And
So
is an still an, what is that? A bigger wheel? What is that? I saw a girl riding it. Um, yeah, 125 should work, but then it's
yeah,
immediately shifting and shifting a lot.
yeah, it's really difficult because obviously I myself ride a 350 KTM.
Okay.
Um, so so in my mind, I'm kind of thinking four stroke
Hmm.
is a little better because it's not as like snappy. and you haven't, like you say, you haven't got to work the gears so much.
No,
But yeah, I'm not quite sure what bikes they've got there.
no.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, so that's what we're trying. We're going for at the moment. Is she wants to give it a go. My wife's not so happy.
No, of course not.
But I think, you know, we've had the discussion, and you know, we need to give her the opportunity to give it a go.
Yeah.
And just see.
I think
So,
also as he has to experience it, and it's also, I think, a thing of money. You should have the money for it, and if that's
yeah,
possible, then yeah, why not show it to her? She's now excited, and could be that
yeah,
she goes 2 times around and she's like, "Oh no, I do not want to do
yeah.
this."
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think I'll be worse than my wife if I'm watching. I think I'll be like, I can't see, I can't look. But my wife would be like, come on, gotta go faster, gotta go faster.
Okay.
But yeah, we need to give her the opportunity. You know, she's either going to love it or she's going to hate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, she sits on my bike and she's like, I know what this does. I know what the clutch does. I know what the gears do.
Good.
And
So she's
so
already investing in, so to say. Huh?
yeah, and she watches a lot of the Moto Academy stuff with me if I'm watching it on YouTube or I'm on a live
Okay.
stream. And obviously, she had the opportunity to meet AJ and Ali last year.
Yeah, of course.
So they had a discussion and they were talking about things, and AJ was like, yeah, go for it. So
Yeah, that is already, that helps, huh?
yeah, definitely. So so she she's really into it, obviously, because I ride. Her boyfriend rides now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the plan coming up in the next month or so, is to give that a go. But
Okay, let's go back a little bit to MarkTwoFour, to you. Work. What do you do for a
yeah,
living?
so I'm a supplier quality engineer for an aerospace company.
Whoa. Okay.
So our company, we manufacture small electronic components
Okay.
for aircraft, so passenger aircraft, military aircraft, and things like
Oh,
that. So yeah, we're just a small company.
but how do you call yourself? Quality?
Supplier quality engineer.
Ooh.
So I
So,
basically look after all the components that we procure into the business.
mhm.
We make sure that they're correct, they work properly, and they're fit for purpose.
And is that in the form of testing and making reports, or is it about certifications? I don't know.
Yeah. So we do. We manufacture.
Mhm.
We test product.
Yeah.
We coat products. We do a wide range of various little things. A lot of our business is like windings.
Yeah.
And then they go into like bigger assemblies and things, and then we send them on to our customers and so
Okay.
on throughout the chain. So yeah, no, it's a really good job. It's really interesting when you find out what our components would go on.
Yeah.
You know, and then so when I think I get a bit geeky about it. So when we went on holiday not so long ago, when the engine makes a certain noise, I can go, oh, we make a component at work that changes the thrust to make that happen, and things like that. And my wife's like, oh, really? What are you going on
Really? Do
about?
we need to go there? Finally,
like
something that you know, huh?
like if we go to air shows and things like that, I'm like, oh, we make stuff for the aircraft, we make stuff for that. So it's I do
Okay,
get a little
that's
bit
nice.
geeky about it, but I
No,
love
but
it.
it's
It's
really
really good.
nice that yeah, you're passionate about the work that you do, and that is always good,
Yeah.
huh? So how long have you been with this company?
So I worked there for about 20 years initially, pretty
Oh,
much since I left college.
okay.
And then I had the opportunity to go into the pharmacy industry
Oh,
as a
okay.
quality engineer again.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I thought, let's try something a little bit different.
Yeah.
But then after I was there for 3 years, and then the job that I left came back up again,
Ah,
and I went back. So
oh wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
I
it's been
think
good.
in itself that's good, huh? It means that you experienced something else and then said, no, what I had was good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And some of the stuff I've learned in the pharmacy industry, pharmaceutical, I've
Yeah.
been able to bring back with me now.
Ah, that's also nice. Yeah.
So yeah, that's been really good. And yeah, I think that 3 years away gave me a good refresh. So now I've come back with a different mindset, and yeah, I've got lots of new goals to accomplish.
Nice, nice. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's good.
Sounds
Yeah.
sounds really good. I just had this one in, so I left it in. Do you have something with music?
Um, I like listen to music, but I
Yeah,
don't really have I don't
that's
have a
okay.
specific thing.
A taste for music, then?
Yeah, so my wife will say I'm too old for this, but I do still like dance music.
Yeah. Why are you?
Um,
You're never too old, eh?
so
Because
no, and
you know what
yeah,
AJ says. You're as old as what you think you are. Huh?
exactly. Yeah, so I don't mind
Dance
a bit
music.
of bit of dance music,
Okay.
and then it can go from that to like Ed Sheeran, that type of music.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Um, and I actually quite listen to like the Irish folk type music.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's I don't have like a specific style. I'll just listen to anything, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. That it sounds that you're really open to music. Now, good. I think music is for everybody something in their life, and one
Mm.
listens, one plays. The other says, "I want to go to a lot of concerts."
Yeah,
When I met my wife, well, she was not my wife yet at that moment, but she was also very into the live music. So
yeah,
that was for me a plus. I figured out, hey, okay, let's do this.
yeah,
For me, that
yeah.
was
No,
not so much for myself. I used to make music well, but yeah, uh, music is always good. I would say
yeah, and
it
I
makes
think
me
it's
happy
good
at least.
if you can get the right type of music. I think it's a real good like stress reliever,
Yeah, yeah,
where you can just like sit at home, listen to something, and you can
yeah,
just completely forget about everything. If that makes
yeah.
sense.
So emotions
Yeah.
roll off, so to say.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think, like say, with the dance thing, it helps with racing.
Yeah, get
Um,
the energy
yeah,
up.
it just and it does. Like at first, I was kind of like, that it can't make any difference whatsoever.
No.
But a couple of times, I have listened to music like before I ride, and
Yeah, on the
it does do
on your
something.
trip.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And
Okay.
then you get to the first corner, and you've got arm pump, and then it all goes out the window.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, let's then immediately jump into the motocross thingy.
Yeah.
So I asked the question also to Al. When and what was the origin for the love of motocross? So where did
Um,
it started for you?
so my dad and my uncle rode since I was little, so I've always been brought up around motocross.
Okay,
Every Sunday, my dad and my uncle would be riding,
really? Okay,
but I never had the interest to ride.
okay,
Um, I kind of something that sticks in my mind was from my dad was racing somewhere, and they tried to buy me a pair of motocross trousers.
yeah,
And all I remember is them trying to get me to try these trousers on, and I went absolutely berserk, crying. I don't want to do this. I don't want to ride. Leave me alone. I don't know what it was. I just didn't want to do it. I had no
okay,
interest, but I love watching it.
okay.
Um, so yeah, I was a bit of a late starter. I didn't when my dad and my uncles retired. I went into
Mhm.
mountain bike racing.
Okay.
So I started off. I did a little bit of cross country. But then I spent probably 3 or 4 years doing downhill mountain biking.
Oh, you have enough hill area then to do that?
Yeah, so you generally probably about 5 minutes from where I live. There's like a forest where we used to go and just do a little bit of riding.
Okay, with
Um,
tracks in it or not?
yeah, it was okay just for a little practice. It wasn't like a
Yeah,
full on like
yeah.
track or
Okay.
anything. But most of the events that we did were within about maybe an hour of where I live.
Oh, okay.
So I did that, um, and then I bought a motocross bike to help with my training.
The other way around. So you
Yeah,
both.
so I thought maybe if I buy a motocross bike, try it. It might help with my downhill racing. And then I bought it and then never went back to downhill mountain biking. I started with motocross.
It's a funny story.
So,
if you like the podcast, please give the thumbs up. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you like this part, please stick around while YouTube will link you automatically to the next part of this episode.